All right, all right. Hello, everyone, and now welcome. Thank you for joining me on this YouTube video, and I'm also streaming on Twitch. A lot more exhausted than I thought I was. Tried to do some casting, and well, I just simply fell apart. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the upcoming patch notes: WarCraft 3 1.29 map pools and balance update. That was actually a really big deal, and looking forward to what Blizzard is looking to do right here. If you guys head over to the BattleNet, US BattleNet forums, BattleNet topics, 2076-200-6793. I'll actually leave a link of this in the description of the video so that you guys can find it. Then you guys can go ahead and read these updates as well. If not, feel free to join me. I'm just going to be spending a little bit of time going over this and then seeing where everything else goes. All right, so here are the details on changes to the pools and balance, keeping feedback in the thread. Mountain King base speed gonna go from 270 to 290. Now, for those of you guys who are like, wait, how much faster is that? That's a little bit less than a 10% speed upgrade. So think of it like a little bit faster than if a Mountain King would have, for some reason, Unholy Aura or Endurance Aura on it. It's making up that much more ground. Mountain King should be able to chase down targets a little bit better, should make him a little bit better of a fighter, and also more viable of a hero in the early stages of the game, since he won't get chased down by, say, Blademasters and other units like that. Stormbolt is going to be dealing reduced damage from here on out, only at level 2s and level 3. So going from 225 to 210 and 350 down to 325, I think that is fairly well balanced, since Stormbolt at higher end level did end up becoming a little bit of a problem. You were able to do some really nasty tricks with the ethereal form on Banish. I'll have to take a look at the math, take a look at what's going on there, and figure out what is really better or worse overall. So yeah, Stormbolt taking a little bit of a nerf. Thunderclap, however, is going to be getting a little bit of a buff. The radius is actually going to be increasing the higher level it is. So it's going to affect that Mountain King even further, or be able to protect it, deal a little bit more damage. So from 60 to 65, the big changes is from 100 to 125. That's actually a 25% increase. And then from 140 to 175, that isn't as big of an increase as it is at level 2, but at level 3, the radius is up to 40, and I think that's larger than Blizzard. I have to double check that. Checking out what the radiuses are in terms of how far it affects, but it is going to be rather large. It is going to be able to slow down units, and it allows that Mountain King to get into harm's way early on, or later on in the game, and make him much more of a bigger threat once he gets there, as opposed to just picking off individual units. That's a definite increase there. Let's move on. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Paladin. Attack speed cooldown is actually going to be, hey, hi, what is that? This is the patch notes for WarCraft 3 1.29 that were recently posted up. So yeah, some big changes going on here. Paladin getting a speed buff increase. It will go from 2.0 to 2.2, essentially making it so that it is a 10% attack speed increase. Paladin should be able to attack more quickly. Part of the change is also being able to get to a target and start and finish its swing in time. That is always very, very important. Hello, viewers. However, the big nerf is going to be to the Divine Shield. Divine Shield at level 2 and level 3 will go down from to 25 seconds and 35 seconds, respectively. But I don't think that's going to be that big of a difference for WarCraft 3 players. And the reason why I say that, even though it is a significant drop off, 5 seconds and 10 seconds at level 2 and level 3, if you have level 3 Divine Shield on your Paladin, or level 2 Divine Shield, almost, mainly more level 3, you're probably in a position to win. Your Paladin was always going to be your third hero. We might see maybe Paladin first now that things get changed. And this is all speculation. This is all just me running through calculations in my brain, imagining how replays would go. But the majority of the time, the Paladin never got to level 3 Divine Shield. At level 5, right? Would you ever go level 3 Divine Shield ever over Holy Light? Is this BattleNet? Yes, it is. And because of that, it's not going to make that big of a difference. At level 6, you are most likely going to get the ultimate ability. And because you're going to get the ultimate ability at level 6, this won't make a difference until, say, level 7. Blademaster, Mirror Image, gets a buff. Its mana cost is now actually significantly reduced. Critical Strike, this is actually something that makes me wonder just a bit. This was actually something I had actually told them to reconsider way back in the day, changing how critical strike damage actually scales. Now, the current is that the multiplier is applied on base damage, and base damage plus the additional damage, and then you multiply everything by 2, 3, 4. Now it's going to be only the base damage, and then the plus damage is added in after the fact. Well, the big question here becomes agility. Circlet of Nobility and Slippers of Agility and Claws of Attack plus 6. All of those affect agility, which shows up as a green number. Claws of Attack plus 6 actually only affected base damage. Now, the question here is going to be, if a unit gets plus agility, is that going to increase the damage, still increase the damage off of the multiplier? Agility, or is it Boots of Quel'Thalas and Claws of Attack plus 6 both have the same plus 6 damage, but does the Boots of Quel'Thalas give the ability to have the multiplier while the Claws of Attack plus 6 don't? That is going to be the big difference. Tomes of Agility should still work in the same way as you guys can see there. Since it is not an item buff, it still increases the damage, and Agility Tomes perhaps are going to be worth even more. Say a plus 2 Tome of Agility is going to be significantly better in that aspect. Overall, I think we are going to stop seeing those crazy high damages, those 300 hit point critical strikes that we were looking at from the Blademaster. That was really the bane of a lot of players. So, also, we're going to be looking at perhaps a change in Kodo Beast damage, things like that. Overall, we should see a significant drop-off in critical strike damage, but I want to get clarification on Boots of Quel'Thalas and Circlet of Nobility and Slippers of Agility compared to Claws of Attack plus 6. Does the agility still get the critical strike bonus? I would argue yes, since agility is a Tome of Agility plus 2 should have the same effect as, or if you get 3 Tomes of Agility, it should have the same effect as Slippers of Agility in the game. But that's my take on it, and nothing too important there. All right, Farseer, let's move up. Lowered XP rewarded to enemy hero. Oh, that's going to be nice. The Spirit Wolves will no longer be feeding experience to your opponents nearly as fast. Increase unit level 1 and level 2. What does that mean? Increase hit points at level 1. Okay, and increase hit points at level 2. Stats at level 2 stats level 4 to stats level 3, and level 3 stats level 5 to level 4. What? Huh? I don't know. Maybe someone can actually explain what that means, because I know that's supposed to be English, but I'm a little bit confused on what they're really trying to talk about right then and there. Okay. The wolf levels are lower. Oh, so... okay, I get it. So, like a 3 supply unit, a 4 supply unit, a 5 supply unit. Okay, yeah, got it. That makes sense. Chain Lightning gets a buff. Decreased damage reduction per target from 15% to 10. All right, straight across the board. That makes sense. Farsight buff. Ooh, no mana cost any longer. All right, so no mana cost, and the cooldown, it goes from 60 to 45 to 30. Is that going to be used? I don't think so. But it's still nice to see, hey, you know what? You can still get level 1 Farsight, and you essentially get a crystal ball to see where your opponent is at any point, to be able to reveal hidden units, stuff like that. Dust of Appearance. You don't have to buy Dust of Appearance. That is overall could be pretty good. All right, let's take a look. Also, a base speed of the Tauren Chieftain. Tauren Chieftain, a base speed increase from 270 to 290. Tauren Chieftain is going to look like he's moving with Endurance Aura even before he has Endurance Aura. Give him Endurance Aura, and all of a sudden his movement speed is going to be closer to 310, 309. Also, reduce the duration for reincarnation to occur. That's actually a very big deal. A Tauren Chieftain's ult just felt a little bit flat. He was out of the game for so long that a lot of the times, by the time he reincarnated, his surrounding units were all also dead. War Stomp gets an increase in damage. Increased damage from 25 to 30, then 50 to 60, and then 75 to 90. All right, if you guys liked the Tauren Chieftain putting his foot down before, you're going to even like it even more. He should be able to take down Crypt Fiends, reveal units that are shadow melted, and do a good bit of damage. All right, let's take a look. Dreadlord base speed has been increased. All right, it looks as though minimum speed on heroes across the board have been moved up. That is going to be good news there. Carrion Swarm mana cost has been reduced and can also target mechanical units. All right, very nice there. Being able to hit mechanical units, not quite sure what that really affects. Perhaps being able to Carrion Swarm some what are some big mechanical units? Ooh, siege engines. That's a unit that Undead could potentially have a problem with. So being able to Carrion Swarm siege engines, I don't know, maybe Dreadlord and Panda to counteract siege engines, a strategy that human players often go for against Undead. Swarm tanks and air. All right, sleep. Buff cooldown on all levels from 6 to 4 seconds. Significant mana reduction, but it's nerfing the duration. But at the same time, if you actually got a full 5-second sleep on a hero or a full 20-second sleep on an enemy unit, something was really wrong there. Your opponent most likely was always going to be able to wake up the unit in time. So that's a nerf that is in effect just neutral. It doesn't really change anything. If a unit is slept for 15 seconds, it's probably surrounded and dead. Finally, Vampiric Aura increased bonus for the Dreadlord gets a bonus. So it's from 15 to 20, 30 to 35, and 45 to 50. All right. I don't think all units get that new percentage. I think it's only the Dreadlord gets the new percentage, and that might actually make the Dreadlord a little bit scary. If 50% of the damage that it is dealing is getting healed back, it actually turns the Dreadlord into a much stronger frontline hero as well. There were some Lucifer Dreadlord games had mass schools, sleep into surround. Yeah, that may be true, but at the same time, if you slept the unit for 10 seconds or 15 seconds, the surround was on. If you needed the full 20 seconds for the surround, something was a little bit off. All right, Crypt Lord. Hero base speed increase. All right, no surprise there. Carrion Beetles increased hit points and movement speed. 140 to 170, increased movement speed, 270 to 290. All right, moves at the same speed as the Crypt Lord. Increase. All right, good. And let's take a look. Buff on Impale. Oh, wow. So Undead Tri-Hero with nuking should become very powerful. Again, being able to stun a unit with the Impale, dealing 50% more damage on average, 50 to 75, 80 to 120, and then 110 to 165. Yeah, 50% more damage on average. Went a little bit too far. Let me go back up. There you go. Lich, gonna be attacking faster. Straight up. Priestess of the Moon gets faster attack speed. All right, something the Priestess of the Moon definitely needed. No question about it. The Priestess of the Moon with Searing Arrow. It was supposed to be an auto attack based hero that used mana. When you look at the Priestess of the Moon and the Blademaster side by side, or the Demon Hunter or any other agility based hero side by side, aside from the Shadow Hunter, the Priestess of the Moon just really fell flat. Keeper of the Grove, buff intelligence in 18 to 19, so starting mana is going to be better. Tranquility, add a 3-second invulnerability to start of each cast. All right, so he's going to be invulnerable for 3 seconds at least, so you're at least going to get 120 seconds of heal, so because he can't be stunned or anything like that. The duration is shorter, but the overall heal is the same, since it is having the duration but upping the heal. That Tranquility definitely gets a huge buff right there. I like it. That 40 hit point heal per second actually makes it so that it actually offsets significantly the amount of damage that the Keeper of the Grove, your lost damage, since that Keeper of the Grove has to be channeling. All right, let's take a look. Entangling Roots. All right, a lot of numbers here. Let's take a look at it. Unit Root nerf. Okay, so at level 2, it is going to be 6 seconds less, and at level 3, it is going to be 6 seconds less. The hero route is actually going from 3 to 5 seconds and 5 to 7 seconds. So that's going to be a longer route there. And then damage per second gets a 25 or a 5 damage per second bonus at level 2s and 3s. All right. So increase, or I believe the damage probably stays about the same. No, about the same if you're taking a look at everything else here. Keeper of the Grove going to be a little bit better. A little bit better just because they're rebalancing all of the roots and whatnot. A lot of the time, entangling roots, dryads, spirit walkers, destroyers, priest would dispel the root anyways. So by shortening the duration but increasing the damage, it still makes it much more potent for the caster, as opposed to, since getting rooted for 3 seconds still deals a larger amount of damage overall. And you can't, yeah, I think I explained that. Let's go back down. Force of Nature. Trents get 14 to 16 damage. All right, just straight up increase the damage. Warden Blink. Yes, and yes. Warden Blink. No longer as crazy at the higher levels. Warden no longer having a 1 second blink, being able to move across the map. At level 2, it does get a 7 second. It gets a 3 second cooldown, and then at level 3, it gets an additional 3 second cooldown. But compared to where it was, I think it was just pretty much ridiculous how fast and how small the Warden could make the map, being able to blink across the map and do damage and then get out of jail very, very safely. Difficult to really pinpoint. Naga Sea Witch, base speed increase, no surprises. Same with the Panda and the Goblin Tinker, no surprises there. Movement, always a key aspect. Let's take a look. Cluster Rockets, allow targeting air units. Interesting. Increase base damage. All right, so a 10 damage increase, and then another 10 damage increase, and another 10 damage increase. So Cluster Rockets actually much more powerful, being able to stun units as well, being able to stun air units, which is incredibly important. Thank you for the follow. I thought you were already following. Yeah. So in addition to the Panda, you also have the Goblin Tinker, who can actually stun flying machines. That is going to be a big deal indeed. I think the range on the Goblin Tinker is going to make flying machine harassment significantly weaker, and I think Undead players are going to perhaps getting the Goblin Tinker as a third hero if their opponent does go for mass flying machines as over the Panda, since the Panda has a cone effect that is still fairly large but difficult since it has a smaller casting range. All right, let's take a look. Goblin Alchemist. Base speed increase, no surprise. Healing Spray no longer heals enemy units. That is absolutely a blast. That means that the Goblin Alchemist can stand there healing him on himself while other units are attacking him. And as long as the Alchemist is surrounded by other friendly units, they can attack back and do a good job there. Acid Bomb buff, increased damage from 5 to 8. Wow. Wow. Secondary damage 3 to 5. That is actually huge. All right. So, all right, 75, so 75 up to 120, and then 150 up to 195. All right, and then there's still secondary damage. So, Acid Bomb may actually be better than Shadow Strike? No, the secondary damage is less, but there is negative armor. So all things considered, in a fight, Acid Bomb is better. Fleeing units, Shadow Strike is better. But we may actually see Goblin Alchemists as a primary hero in the Night Elf arsenal now, which would be very scary. Also because Transmute, as we've seen, is a very powerful ability. You essentially just start buying potions of mana, go in, use a potion of mana, transmute something, and then you have enough gold for another transmute, and that should always pretty much be on cooldown. All right. Fire Lord, Incinerate, gets a buff, increased bonus damage multiplier from 1 to 2, death damage full area from 90 to 120, death damage half area from 180 to 2, death damage is half, but area from 180 to 2 for a duration from 2 to 4. So multiplier is increased again, and yeah, so it deals more damage. The explosion is larger across the board and has a longer duration. That's what that means. Soul Burn buff, increased duration increase from 14 to 16, and increased damage from 100 to 125. So just increased damage across the board as well. And it also silences units. Dark Ranger Life Drain, which, well, we rarely ever get to see. Alchemist has low armor, mana regen, and attack speed. So really niche pick. Yeah, it also has high regeneration or high hit points. So Alchemist has always been a very, 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 very niche as well. But if you are hoping to bank on a lot of rings of protection, all of a sudden that Alchemist becomes much more powerful, much more scary, since I think it's one of the few heroes that actually has less than 2 armor at level 1, but has high hit points to offset it. So once you start giving it armor, it actually scales up significantly faster. It's one of those min-maxing things. All right, Amazonia and Last Refuge have been added to the map pools. Orb of Darkness, Fairy Fire, and Acid Bomb. Well, considering that can only happen in a 2v2. So if you do Orb of Darkness and Orb of Darkness, Acid Bomb, or Orb of Darkness, Fairy Fire, that negative armor adds up. Or sorry, Acid Bomb and Fairy Fire, that negative damage does really add up. I've always liked the Alchemist. Dark Ranger, Life Drain. I don't foresee this being a very big change. The mana reduction is a good deal, but Dark Ranger using Life Drain was always a very, very niched situation anyways. All right. Map pools. 1v1, Terranistan, Plunder Isle, Two Rivers, Road to Strathome, Echo Isle, Triceful Glades. All right. New maps already being added. Very, very nice there. And that's pretty much my coverage. So some good changes. I believe this is going to get a new injection of viewers and whatnot, and perhaps people trying to play the game. Hopefully this means that they are working on a remastered edition. And if anyone wants to thumbs up this post right here, I am all for it. Anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. That's all the time I really have today. Hope to see you guys on Battle.net testing things out. Maybe I'll actually start playing WarCraft 3 again. That would absolutely be a blast.